Now we're moving from Singapore to Indonesia, and we're welcomed by Andy Shorten, who established the Lighthouse Consultancy, an Indonesian shore support company. And he spent 19 years in the Indonesian marine tourism industry. And he and his team have developed a comprehensive understanding of the superyacht cruising throughout the Indonesian archipelago. Andy, over to you. Show us why we should do.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Scott, and also Gordon, for filling us with wisdom about the countries that you guys work in. I will now talk a little bit about Indonesia. Now, I don't really want to talk about the airports and the logistics, the clearances or the provisions or anything like that. We can help with all those kind of things. There are a number of short support companies here that will be able to do that. So logistically, we're getting really good at that kind of stuff. What I want to do is basically show you lots of beautiful photographs, because that is the real reason why you'd want to come and visit Indonesia. It's an absolutely stunning place. We're very fortunate that it is so beautiful. So I'm going to allow these photographs to entice you to come along, and as and when you want to bring your yacht here, then you'll be able to do that. Now, following a bit of a trend set by Trent a couple of weeks ago, just want to show you the green there is Indonesia. You can see it's pretty much the same size as the mainland USA. We've got 17,000 islands. So yeah, it's a huge area that we're working with. If you were to put Singapore in there, you'd probably get it in 712,000 times. So, you know, we're working with a slightly different range and different focus to people like Scott. We're going to go through 4 main cruising areas. The first is going to be Bali to Komodo. Then we're going to talk about the Banda Sea. Have some lovely photographs from Raja Ampat, which everyone knows, and then actually a new area, I guess, Cendrawasih, with some very large and interesting fish life there. So let's move on to the next one. Right, so we're going to start here in the bottom here. You've got the cruising region from Bali to Komodo. Bali is pretty much the place where most people start their initial trips. It's nice because it's got an international airport, which is about 5-6 minutes from the port. Can get on the boat there, and then the boat will leave to go east. The next photo is going to be going to show you really beautiful chart, let's say, showing all the different stop-offs and anchorages that you can visit on the way between Bali and Komodo. You can see Komodo there on the right-hand side, and we've got a blown-up area there. So if you look there, there's probably something like 10 different anchorages that you can visit for a day on the way over to Komodo, and then maybe another 15 or 20 anchorages in Komodo National Park itself. The lovely thing about this is that you can visit the area and just focus on going from Bali to Komodo and back, or you can just see this area and then get off in Komodo, and the guests can fly out and leave the country that way. Or if you've got a really long time to spend in the country, this could just be the first part of your trip, and then you can continue on as I'll be enticing you to do during the next part of the presentation. So the next photograph that we're going to look at is a lovely crater lake here on the top of Mount Rinjani. You can see a group of people there. We actually ended up with 32 porters lugging 4 tents, and the guests themselves actually stayed off the boat for that night. It was really, really cool. Beautiful, beautiful trip. Now, this next section is on the just outside of Moyo, I believe. Beautiful wakeboarding activities there. You can see lovely, lovely white sand beaches and not another person in sight. So that's one of the real positives. Here we have the Amanwana, which is a tented resort. It's about 150 miles out of Bali, and literally it's glamping. It's just beautiful. But they also have lovely spas and lovely meals. It's one of the few places on the trip that you're actually able to stop. And also very close to there's this incredible waterfall. So you can get in like this green MASH style truck and all drive up to the waterfall. You get in, there's a rope swing there, and you can swing into the pool, and that's a pretty scenic and pretty unique place to go. Following further on, then we're going to the crater lake at Setonda Island. So we've actually taken, this is Seawolf in the front. She has a huge array of toys, and we took the kayaks from there, walked through this little massive land, and then actually did kayaking on a crater lake, which I don't think many people in the world can say they've done. So, you know, it's really nice. Komodo is a very full of beautiful anchorages. You'll see lots of different yachts in the slides as they come. Komodo itself is actually very arid. This image here shows you can often trek up high onto the hills and then look over. If you see in the right-hand side of the slide there, quite how brown the bushes and the islands are. So it's very different because of the low rainfall. Here we are showing beautiful blue water with some stand-up paddles. That's from a boat, Archimedes. Then you want to go underwater. Now, Komodo is pretty renowned for fast currents and speedy and a lot of fish. You can see this guy here has had to hook in with his reef hook, and he's just watching the activities of the fish going by. It's kind of fish soup. You know, you've got a big school of sweet lips there, and you can see one just in the front there being cleaned. So a lot of people go to here, maybe not to learn to dive, but already knowing how to dive, and they want to just see all these different creatures. It's a really lovely experience. Here is a squadron. I believe it's the collective noun is a squadron of manta ray. You can see them all lining up there. Pretty lucky shot by a friend of mine called Mike Veach, who does guide on yachts for us. This is a Komodo dragon, and they're pretty much found on 2 islands in Komodo National Park, and they are, you can guarantee pretty much to see them. You can visit the park area where the rangers are, or you can see them on the beaches. Here is one of the beaches down in Cannibal Bay, Cannibal Rock, which was named when the person who discovered it found a large Komodo dragon eating another one on the top of the rock. You think you might get away from them by being on your boat, but they can swim, so you really do need to be careful of your Komodo dragons. As you move further east, this is a lovely anchorage, and you can see a beach set up here down the bottom. We often have local visitors come over and try and sell you some fish or maybe some ikat cloths and weavings and that kind of thing. And that's a really nice way. Some limited interactions with local communities. We can arrange to go on shore and visit them too. It just depends on what the activities are and what the bosses want to do. Again, another beautiful anchorage. Okay, so let's hold it for a second here. Right, we've finished Komodo. Now we're going to move on to the Banda Sea. Now, the Banda Sea is a smaller cruising ground. You can pretty much add 2 or 3 days to a larger Komodo trip or a Raja Ampat trip by visiting the Banda Sea. Banda Sea is really nice because it's a different vibe. It's a human history as opposed to beautiful scenic. Komodo is wonderful. Raja Ampat is so beautiful. They're amazing. But the issue is you can get bored of seeing all these beautiful places. So why not learn a bit about culture and history too? And that's where Banda comes in. So we're going to look for a couple of photographs here, which are going to explain and show evidence of what you can do when you visit Banda, either for a couple of days or maybe a week or so. So here's Banda itself, very small town. You can see a very large volcano there that erupted, I believe, last time in 1988. See a yacht in the corner. That's not always there. You can also see a fort on the hill there, Fort Meljita. Very interesting. Now, mace is the reason why Banda is famous. Nutmeg, sorry, and mace is an offcut of nutmeg. So this is the different stages of the nutmeg plant. This is one of my very good friends who's a guide there, and he will take you around. It's a very small town, so basically people can get off the yacht, just drop on the dock and then wander around, go through the town. There's a museum, there's a lovely market, and people will show you. It's really lovely because people are so interested in talking to you and seeing you. And, you know, you get to interact and take photos of the people, buy stuff from them. It's really, really nice. It's a very friendly place. This is Seawolf again with a Kora Kora canoe in front of it. Now, a Kora Kora canoe has 32 people on it, and they race across the Bay of Banda. It's a very interesting and delightful activity for people to be involved in. If you don't want to see people, you want to see big hammerhead sharks, then you want to go to the Banda Sea in October or November. Very newly discovered, I guess, 4 or 5 years ago. If you look into the blue rather than the coral, you can see pretty much big schools of hammerhead sharks. This is an old volcano called Komba, right in the south of the Banda Sea, and this used to erupt every 4 or 5 minutes. It was beautiful, lovely sounds. You could see the lava at night, and it was beautiful. Then all of a sudden, one day, it just stopped. Maybe it got bored, or maybe it caught COVID. I don't really know, but it's not erupting quite as often as it used to. Anyway, so that's the Banda Sea. Now we're going to move on to Raja Ampat. Now, Raja Ampat is probably one of the most well-known places in maybe Southeast Asia, I'm not sure, but certainly in Indonesia, everyone wants to go to Raja Ampat. And having been there myself several times, I would completely and utterly endorse such an opinion. Now, you can see here, there's two different main regions. There's to the north and to the south. The south is more focused on diving, and to the north is probably a little bit more scenery, but there's scenery and diving in both areas, as I'm going to show you as we go through these next photos. So let's move on to the next one. Right, this is going into an anchorage called Wayag. Absolutely incredible. The karst formations are absolutely stunning. And this boat is a boat called Paradise that's moving in. A quick shout out to Skyflow Creations, who do all my drone shots. They are absolutely incredible, provided some great shots. This is one of the idyllic isolated beaches that you can set up on for the boss. You can swim there all day, or you can go for a walk on the sand, or you can leave people to enjoy themselves however they wish to on a deserted island beach. This is 1,000 temples down in Misol. There's some really beautiful anchorages in and around these, and you can see that if you're in there, there's literally no possible way that another boat can be there or can see you. This is Maliabit Bay. Now, this is really interesting. You can see the movement of the water at the bottom here. As you can actually take the yacht up into the bay, and you have to follow exactly the right tide, because you can literally be going backwards here. So it's we've had a few very brave yachts that have done that. Again, we've got mantas in their squadron or whatever it was, and yeah, this particular yacht was very fortunate. It stopped on the way and saw whales and mantas. There's a large turtle head, so we all like those, with some lovely orange corals there, so that's great. Now, one of my favorite dive guides, Jason Williamson there. There's some new jellyfish lakes down in the south of Misol, and we've met some of the people doing research on these. It's very interesting, and we thought it was only in Palau, but obviously it's to do with the whole karst area. Now, karst formations, this is the beehive kind of formation of the islands here. You can see that they're very covered with beautiful vegetation. You'll also see orchids and pitcher plants and all kinds of stuff. Sometimes they've even got cave paintings. In Indonesia, I think they found some beautiful cave paintings in Sulawesi, the oldest in the world, the other day. This is a beautiful waterfall at Batanta, and that was one of our guides who trekked upriver to show people where they can go. It's a bit of a tough trek, actually, to go up there. So you need to make sure that you're fit enough so that everyone who goes up comes back down. But it is a river, so if you're on a nice raft or something, you could probably float back down. But we haven't tried that one yet. Maybe we should. This next photo is a 300-meter cave. You take the paddleboard into the cave and you can look around. Usually you have to paddle out. We haven't found the other end yet. Maybe you can scoot yourself out eventually, but we haven't got to there. So there we go. This is one of the lovely ways you can spend the day. If you don't want to explore and go and see all these kind of rough and rugged places, then you can go and just spend an entire day, set up your paddleboard, set up your gazebo, maybe bring a personal chef over. That's what I always do, and have a nice bit of food when you're over there. This is quite interesting because Chris Walsh from Archimedes follows me in my presentations around, so that's why I decided to chuck him in there. This is again up at Wayag. As you can see, beautiful anchorages. And the nice thing is, because of the formation of the region, you can have boats in these different bays and still not see them. This is Naya that was taking advantage of that. It's just so beautiful. The corals and the color of the ocean. Luckily, it's protected. It's not always massively. Don't have significant conditions. There are certain times you can pretty much cruise in Raja Ampat throughout the year. Again, more yachts in more beautiful places. You know, why don't you bring your own one there? This is actually an interesting one. That location is Mios Kon, which is about 40 miles out of Sorong, and we can send speedboats of provisions and all that kind of stuff out there while the guests are having activities. So the activities and the reprovisioning doesn't affect the experience of the guests. Right, so now we're going to move on to the final cruising ground, and that's Cendrawasih Bay. Chenderai Bay further to the east, it's pretty much as east as you can get before you get into Angela Pennefather's realm of PNG. She hasn't come and explored this with me yet, but I'm sure she's going to at some point. Now, Chenderai Bay is lovely. It's out of Biak. Biak's probably one of the most challenging ports that I personally work with. If you want something done there, you have to like preempt a wait of 4 or 5 hours. So we always have to try and find activities to be doing while we're waiting for the officials to do what they need to do. But luckily, there's some beautiful areas that you can see. The Chenderai is pretty much a beach and anchorage focused destination. The diving isn't, for me, the same standard or quality that you'll see in Raja Ampat, but it is interesting. But the beaches are absolutely phenomenal, and it's such a beautiful place. This is the Catalina Wreck, which is just outside of Biak, which you can be diving while you're waiting for the officials to decide that they want to stop having a cigarette and come and deliver your clearance back to you. We interact with a lot of the local villages in the park. This area is so remote that there are very few of the villages have ever seen white people or foreign people, and it's really nice to go. The pace of life in these villages is just zero, so the wander through there is pretty awesome. Now, the stars of the show in Chenderai Bay are the whale sharks. There's a community of juvenile whale sharks, and you can pretty much guarantee to see them. This is my dive guide, Mr. Mate, and he's keeping an eye on those whale sharks there. And we've kind of worked out how to bring the whale sharks to the back of the boats. So you can see here, we've been relatively successful in that, and they will feed on the bait fish that is under the fishing platforms. And now we've kind of worked out how to move them across and enjoy the experience for guests. And there you go, that's the quick tour of Indonesia. I hope that makes you want to come. I hope it makes you full of joy and love. And I look forward to hosting you here as and when you want to come. Thank you very much. Back to you, Susie.